Watch where people sit next time you're in a restaurant. Most won't think twice about it, but some people, almost without exception, choose the seat facing the door. Every single time. Coffee shop, family dinner, work meeting, doesn't matter. If there's a seat with a clear view of the entrance, they'll take it, often without even realizing they're doing it. This isn't a quirky preference. It's one of the clearest behavioral fingerprints the nervous system leaves on a person, and once you understand why, you'll never unsee it again. You've probably watched this happen 100 times without naming it. The slight pause before someone sits down, the quick glance at the layout of a room, the almost imperceptible negotiation over who takes which chair. Most of the time it looks like nothing, just two people being polite about seating. But underneath that small social moment, something much older is often running the show. Let's start with the obvious explanation, because it's the one most people land on first, and it's only half right. Yes, this is about safety. Specifically, it's about a part of the brain called the amygdala, the structure responsible for detecting threats before your conscious mind even processes what's happening. For some people, that system runs hotter than average, scanning environments constantly for anything that might signal danger. Sitting facing the door means you see what's coming before it sees you. It's not paranoia, it's preparation, even if there's nothing to prepare for. But here's where it gets more interesting, because this pattern usually isn't random. It tends to show up most strongly in people who've lived through periods of unpredictability, whether that's a chaotic childhood home, a past relationship where conflict came without warning, or any extended period where not knowing what was coming next had real consequences. The nervous system doesn't forget that lesson easily. Long after the danger is gone, the habit of watching the door remains, quietly running in the background of everyday life. Let's pause here, because there's an important distinction worth making. This isn't the same as generalized anxiety. Someone can be otherwise calm, confident, even outgoing, and still have this single, specific habit baked in. That's because it's not really about anxiety in the moment. It's procedural memory, the same category of memory that lets you ride a bike without thinking about it. Except in this case, what got encoded wasn't balance, it was vigilance. Here's something most people don't realize about this pattern. It's not actually about the door itself. Ask someone who does this why they prefer that seat, and they'll usually say something vague, like, "I just feel more comfortable," or, "I don't know, I just always do this." They're rarely able to articulate the real reason, because the real reason isn't conscious. It's a body-level decision made faster than language, the same system that makes you flinch before you've consciously registered a loud noise. Now let's talk about what this looks like beyond restaurants, because once you know the pattern, you start noticing it everywhere. It's the person who positions their desk so they can see the office door. The one who always ends up with their back against a wall at parties. The one who feels a low hum of unease in a room with their back to an open space, even if nothing has ever happened to them in that exact situation. It's a generalized orientation toward the world. Know what's coming, stay ready, don't get caught off guard. Here's a pattern interrupt worth sitting with for a second. Think about the last time you walked into a room, any room, work, a friend's house, a waiting area. Did you scan it before sitting down? Most people don't even notice themselves doing this. It happens in under a second, faster than conscious thought. Let's get into something researchers have found that complicates the simple safety explanation. This pattern also correlates strongly with high openness to experience, one of the core personality traits in psychology. People high in openness tend to process more environmental information at once. They notice more. They're more curious about their surroundings by default. So for some people, this isn't trauma-driven hypervigilance at all. It's simply an information-gathering habit from a mind that likes having more data about its environment, not less. The same behavior, two completely different routes. This is actually one of the more important things to understand about behavioral psychology in general. The same external action can come from wildly different internal causes. Two people can sit facing the door for entirely different reasons. One from old fear, one from natural curiosity. And from the outside, they look identical. This is why psychologists are usually cautious about diagnosing anything from a single behavior in isolation. Context, history, and the felt experience behind the action matter far more than the action itself. So how do you actually tell the difference in yourself or someone else? It usually comes down to what happens internally when the seat isn't available. If someone with trauma-rooted vigilance gets seated with their back to the door, there's often a real physical discomfort, a low simmer of unease that doesn't fully go away no matter how much they try to ignore it. Their shoulders might tense. Their eyes might keep darting toward the entrance anyway, even from the wrong angle. If it's simply an openness-driven preference, there might be mild disappointment, but no real distress, and they'll forget about it within minutes. The body knows the difference, even when the conscious mind doesn't. Let's talk about whether this pattern is something to fix or just something to understand. Honestly, in most cases, it's neither good nor bad on its own. Wanting to see your environment isn't a problem. The issue only arises when the underlying vigilance bleeds into other areas, when you can't relax in unfamiliar spaces at all, when your nervous system treats every new environment as a potential threat rather than a neutral situation. That's when it's worth gently examining where the pattern came from, not to eliminate it entirely, but to soften its grip so it doesn't run the whole show. For some people, simply naming the pattern is enough to change their relationship with it. Recognizing, oh, this is my nervous system doing its old job, not the present moment giving me actual signals of danger, creates a small but meaningful separation. You can still take the seat facing the door. You just don't have to feel controlled by needing to. There's a useful exercise some therapists recommend for people who notice this pattern running a little too hot. It's not about forcing yourself to sit with your back to the room. That usually just creates unnecessary distress for no real benefit. Instead, it's about practicing staying present in the moment when the seat isn't available. Noticing the discomfort without immediately trying to fix it, and letting the nervous system slowly learn, through repeated low-stakes experience, that nothing bad actually happens. This is, in essence, the same mechanism behind most exposure-based approaches to anxiety, just applied to a much smaller, more specific habit. There's also something worth appreciating about this trait rather than just managing it. People who scan rooms tend to notice things others miss entirely. They pick up on shifts in mood before anyone says a word. They register when someone new walks in before the rest of the table does. In the right context, this isn't dysfunction. It's a finely tuned sensitivity to environment that, when it's not running purely on fear, can look a lot like emotional intelligence wearing a different outfit. It's worth adding one more layer here, because it ties everything together. The seat facing the door habit is really just one visible symptom of a much broader internal stance toward the world, a default setting of readiness versus a default setting of ease. Most people fall somewhere on a spectrum between the two, and where you land often says less about your personality in some fixed sense, and more about what your environment taught you to expect. So next time you catch yourself, or someone you know, instinctively choosing the seat facing the door, don't dismiss it as a small quirk. It's actually one of the more revealing windows into how someone's nervous system learned to navigate the world, whether that lesson came from old fear or simple curiosity. Tell me in the comments, are you a door watcher? And if you've never noticed this about yourself before, pay attention next time you sit down somewhere new. You might be surprised what you find.